Hello friends! In this video, we are going to share the amazing golden strategy used by thousands worldwide to sustain a retirement lifestyle at a younger age. Is early retirement possible? Absolutely, yes. But we're going to learn about the crucial 4% rule that you need to apply to achieve this. Are you ready? The 4% rule helps you understand how much money you need to save to maximize the income you can generate from your investments. Honestly, no strategy is absolute because none of us can know for certain what the future holds. However, by extrapolating from our experiences over the last century, we can get an idea of how much money we need to live on today. You have various options such as investing in real estate, stocks, or a business that generates income. But in this video, we will focus on the stock market, which is a comfortable and secure investment. As I promised in my previous video, we are going to start setting our financial course by first securing our retirement plan. We will show you how much you need to invest to be able to live off the returns of the money you save. The main goal of this strategy is to invest the money you save and reinvest its returns, growing the money to a point where you can live off your income without touching your principal. This is called compound interest, and the best part, if you don't touch your investment, is that this money can continue to grow indefinitely. When it comes to early retirement, I can say it depends on how much money you can save and how little you can spend per month. Have you heard of a movement called FIRE? Thousands of people following this strategy are enjoying retirement at an early age. In the United States, you can find countless blogs, videos, and resources on this subject, and meet many people who have retired in their 30s or even younger by following these strategies. At this point, you must be asking yourself, how do I do this? You need to follow 2 basic steps. Be as frugal as possible and spend less, because your goal is to have an investment fund sufficient to cover your monthly expenses. I will explain the details of this strategy to you as simply as possible. This video will be our first step on our journey to our financial utopia, so I kindly ask you to watch the video to the end very carefully and understand the main philosophy very well. If you like my video and write more in the comments, you would make me very happy for more strategies like this. I put a lot of effort into these videos. I'm sure you won't spare your support. Now let's get to know the 4% rule closely. Expenditures can vary greatly from person to person. If your monthly expenses are $3,000, you will need to invest much more compared to $1,800 in expenses. This means that the more you reduce your expenses, the more you can reduce the amount you need to invest. Therefore, saving and keeping your expenses under control are extremely beneficial for 2 different purposes. Firstly, the less you spend, the more you can increase your savings and faster you can build the fund needed to cover your monthly expenses in the future. Secondly, the less you spend, the less income you will need, and thus you can reach the returns needed to live off your investments faster. Does that sound appealing? Are you ready to make such sacrifices to reach your early retirement goal? Now, I will explain this to you very simply with concrete figures. The 4% rule initially aims to save 50% or ideally 70% of your income. This may seem difficult to achieve at first, but simplifying your lifestyle, reducing unnecessary expenses, and finding creative solutions to increase your income allows you to reach this goal. Suppose you aim to retire at 30. In this case, you need to plan to work from 20 to 30 and then not work for the rest of your life. However, to reach this goal, you may need to take quite drastic measures, like adopting a minimalist lifestyle. That's why the first step is so important. The less you spend each month, the more you can save and reach an earlier retirement. Those who apply this strategy tend to focus on investing heavily for 10 years. This earns them a comfortable lifetime retirement without any work at the end of 10 years. You don't often see people who join the FIRE movement driving new cars or going on luxury vacations. Instead, They probably prefer the cheapest products in the supermarket and organize barbecue parties for entertainment in the summer. Of course, this is not a completely wrong lifestyle. However, these people are focused on longer-term goals and the broad financial freedom they want to achieve. Those joining the FIRE movement usually aim to save 25 times their annual expenses. For more certainty, we will take this as 30 times. This allows them to withdraw approximately 4% of their investments each year while keeping the majority of their investments safe. We call this rule the 4% rule. If you want to spend the rest of your life withdrawing 4% from your investments every year, you need to calculate how much savings you need to make to cover your expenses with the 4% annual return from your investments. In other words, the 4% you withdraw is the extra money from the returns on your savings. To implement this strategy, you need to minimize your monthly expenses as much as possible. Calculate your annual living cost, multiply it by 30, and save an amount between 50% and 70% of your income each month. If this amount seems far from the targeted amount, maybe this method is not suitable for you. However, instead of criticizing the rule, perhaps you should look for ways to improve your situation. So, how do you determine how much savings you need to make from your investments by applying the 4% rule? If your monthly expenses are $1,200, your annual expense is $14,400. If you multiply your annual expenditure by 30, your savings target should be $432,000. If your monthly expenses are $2,000, your savings target should be $720,000. To follow this strategy and reach retirement as quickly as possible, it is crucial to keep your monthly expenses low. For every additional $100 you spend each month, you need to save an additional $36,000 in your financial independence fund to cover this monthly expense. If you are really serious about this and plan to retire at the age of 30 or younger, you need to spend as little as possible. If we understood this part now, we have come to the final step of following this strategy: passively investing all the accumulated money in the dollar stock market. Many people following this strategy actually adopt the passive investment method to index funds recommended by Warren Buffett. Index funds essentially allow you to achieve diversity on the stock market in a simple way. When investing in index funds, you don't need to decide which stocks to buy, because index funds offer return equivalent to the average return of all companies that make up the index. So essentially, this way you passively invest in the entire market. For example, the NASDAQ index consists of American technology companies such as Google, Facebook, or Apple. And when you invest in a NASDAQ index fund, it's as if you're investing in all these companies at once, because this fund brings together the returns of all these companies and provides an average return. Those who implement this strategy are not trying to beat the market. They are not a stock trader or stock analyst. They simply passively invest in these low-cost index funds. By investing in one of the popular index funds, such as the Vanguard 500 fund, you invest in a small slice of these 500 public companies. The different dividends paid by these companies come together, and every quarter, this fund pays you the total of all these dividends. At this point, perhaps you think that the 4% rule is quite appealing. However, you might pose an impressive question like, how much will this method work if the market doesn't provide this 4% annual return? Perhaps I need to comfort you a little, because in the last 100 years, the stock market has provided an average return of between 8% and 10% each year. So, based on past data, if you only withdraw 4% per year, you don't need to touch your original investment, for example, a capital of $432,000, for a long time. So, after saving and investing 30 times your annual expenses, you can spend the rest of your life without working. Of course, this will require serious savings, because essentially you are planning to work non-stop for about 10 years and then spend the rest of your life without having to work. Therefore, most people will not be able to reach this goal due to the required level of this big sacrifice. However, let's examine this scenario a bit more and consider the numbers. Let's assume that you have no student loan, mortgage, or other financial obligation. You did not fall into the consumption trap and avoided unnecessary expenses to keep your expenses at a minimum. For example, you didn't buy a new car. Therefore, if you aim to save $432,000 within 10 years, it's important to keep in mind that the market provides an average return of between 8% and 10% per year. Let's create a scenario based on an 8% annual return for your investments, adopting a conservative approach. Thanks to compound interest, if you save and invest $26,000 each year, at the end of 10 years, you will have a total saving of $432,782.67. That's the amount that allows you to retire by withdrawing 4% of your investment each year and continue your life with an income of $1,200 per month. In other words, you should make an income of $40,400 each year. You will set aside $26,000 of this amount and spend the remaining $14,400 for your living expenses. So, is this really possible? Definitely yes, it is possible. But is it easy? No, it's not easy. You will live in a small apartment, use public transportation, and cook at home. However, if you think that this sacrifice will pay off in the long term, then this could be an option for you. Each year, you will save and invest a significant amount of money, and you will do all of this based on living expenses of $1,200 per month. Is this a lifestyle that suits you? Or would you prefer to travel more, eat out, and experience new things? Most people implementing this method avoid a luxurious lifestyle or do not travel, at least during their saving periods. Would I personally follow this strategy? Probably not, because I enjoy traveling, eating out, and experiencing new things. Although my financial independence goal is far above $432,000, I'm still trying to manage every penny I earn wisely and turn it into an investment. However, it's important to mention that there are many people who fully implement this strategy and retire before the age of 30. Although it's a bit complicated, I hope you understand how the strategy works. Would you prefer this strategy? Please specify this in the comments. Now, I kindly ask you to like my video and support me, and then click on the video that appears on the screen. I see that many of you are pessimistic financially in the comments. If you also watch this video, you will see that there is nothing to be pessimistic about. I can say that it is a video that I think will be very beneficial for you. I am grateful to you for following me this far, hoping to see you in the next video. Have days full of earnings